Choice is your weapon. In what battle? The battle for your soul and self-respect. Today you will hear how the choices you make can shape your soul, as you have the power to carve your own destiny. Join me in a celebration of American heroes who carved their own destinies and battled for their own souls. Let's start by going back to 1963, the 100th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation. One man stood in front of 250,000 people and spoke of his dream. What did Martin Luther King Jr. dream about? That one day his 4 little children will be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Does this expression speak to you? Definitely speaks to me. Why? Because the content of your character takes place through thousands of choices you make, whereas the color of your skin is an accident. You have no control, no choice there. In the same famous speech, King said, "We must forever continue our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline." Doesn't dignity and discipline give you self-respect? We all know that King inspired millions of people, but who inspired him? Rosa Parks definitely deserves credit for bravely refusing to sit in the back of the bus. Anyone else? When asked that question, King said, "Jackie Robinson made my success possible. Without him, I could not have done what I did." In case you don't know, in 1947, Jackie Robinson changed the complexion of baseball and of America when he took the field for the Brooklyn Dodgers. His heroism inspired me so much that I wrote an article about it in the Objective Standard. See that? That's me. Now, heroes overcome adversity. Imagine yourself where you go to your job and your coworkers taunt you and harass you. Your competitors throw baseballs at your head. And then at night when you get home, you receive death threats. How would you react? I would not be happy. But Robinson refused to lash out because he knew many people wanted to see him become violent so that they could say, "See, he doesn't belong here." Instead, dusted himself off, took the high moral ground, and won the greater battle. Robinson said the most treasured possession anyone has is self-dignity. And both Robinson and King shared another value. Beware, I'm about to drop the F-bomb. I'm going to say a word that's practically banned from college campuses. Freedom! King's speech took place during the March for Freedom. Robinson helped to establish the Freedom Bank in Harlem, where he promoted personal responsibility and urged locals to become business leaders. For the next one, let's go even farther back in time, to the 19th century, and talk about the hero who was born a slave. Frederick Douglass. Regarding his own freedom, Douglass said, "I prayed for 20 years and received no answer till I prayed with my legs." Douglass had what is today called the growth mindset, and he risked his life for freedom. He rejected the fixed mindset that ordered him to stay put and obey the authorities. Douglass knew the mind was a terrible thing to waste, so he learned how to read and write, became an entrepreneur, and started his own newspaper called the North Star, where he spoke out against slavery. Then he became a fabulous public speaker. In his most famous speech, he talked about empowerment that comes from honest work. That speech is called The Self-Made Men. If you ask me for an artistic impression of what that self-made image of somebody carving out their own destiny, it would look something like this. But I I have to say, women are just as capable of carving their own destinies. And a perfect example is the first female self-made millionaire in America, Madam C.J. Walker, whose story is told in the Netflix program, Self-Made. King, Robinson, and Douglass all could easily have claimed victimhood, but they rejected that. They faced howling mobs, but became voices of reason. They promoted character over skin color, dignity over violence, and freedom over slavery. Do you want to be inspired by these kinds of heroes when you go through your own battles? I do. Especially in this day and age where if we say anything controversial, we're likely to run into a howling mob either in person or in social media. Let's conclude with the voice of God, actor Morgan Freeman. Doesn't he sound like God? In a television interview, he said, "I'm going to stop calling you a white man, and I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman. I'm not going to say I know this white guy named Mike Wallace." You hear what I'm saying? I hear what he's saying. He's saying that choice is his weapon as it is mine. And that's why I choose the growth, empowerment, and freedom mindset instead of the fixed, powerless, victim mindset. What about you? What about the choices you make in your life? There's plenty of battles going on out there in the culture. It might be because a lot of people have internal battles going on in their own lives. Whatever battles you face, what choice will you make? And how will you carve your own destiny?